Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, your home for all content, Lord of the Rings home. Today I want to talk about, give an update on my main account, which has crossed a 200,000 collection power threshold. I did a little community poll asking if people were interested in seeing a video about this, and I think the answer is yes, so I will continue to provide regular updates on both my main account and my free-to-play account. That way there's kind of a varying perspective here on what are people who pay to play this game focusing on, and then what is the free-to-play account focusing on. So with that, you can see my characters here. I got a collection power. It's actually 204,000, 204.5 thousand. Got a strongest squad power of about 52k. I've got my dwarves here. You all know I pretty much love the dwarves. So what does a 200k power roster get you? Okay, so ignore my favorited up here. It's just this top row. You can basically see I have a G9, entire G9 for my arena squad, which is the Rivendell Elves plus Brute. And then I've got level 60, Lomian as well as part of the Rivendell, but a lot of Isengard, a lot of Rohan, and then of course my second biggest team is my dwarves with Brute. You can slot Brute in there. I do for raids as well, but dwarves are a big focus for me. I've got level 60 Biffer, Gimli, Feely, Keely. I'm gonna be wailing out on Lord Balin when he comes in. I think that will be a really good replacement for the Brutes in lots of pretty much all the chapters of the raid. But also got to focus on, a lot of other characters. Rohan 3, I think, are really strong. I, of course, have level 60 Strider. I actually just got the shards to get him to 7 stars yesterday, I believe. I guess I've been slacking on that. Not sure why that was the case. Also just got Ugluk to 7 stars. I have a dearth is a good word, of blue ability material. So I've been going back and just getting character shards for Ironhide and Ugluk. And right now I'm actually farming Gimli in chapter 2 just because I want to get him to 7 stars. So a lot of these characters are kind of on their way to 7 stars, and I'm just trying to finish my farms is really the lesson there. And then when you kind of scroll down further, I've got a few marquees like Bekaloo and T-Beb and Faramir. I didn't go all in on Gondor. I did buy the packs to take them to 3 to 4 stars for Denethor and Boromir, but didn't buy the chess. I just did that for Faramir because he is a ranger. He's got some utility elsewhere, I feel like, and he's got a slow, which I think is pretty powerful. That maybe it hasn't panned out like I would wanted it to. Got Nuraz up because I think he's got a lot of utility in the raids. Naramiri, obviously, as well. As you can see, my Naramiri, though, not that high, but I use her in my raids because she's just that good. At least in my opinion, she has helped me increase my raid scores. So just gear tier 5 there, level 48. I have, like everybody else, have 0 character XP basically. And right now, the only reason you see I have any sort of resources is because I'm saving for Lord Balin, who's coming on Monday. So stop by for the stream I'm going to do on Monday if you're around. I'm going to be unlocking him, leveling him up to a decent amount, and then we're going to be trying him out in chapter 3 of the raid. Obviously with the dwarf team. Maybe not. We'll talk. I'll talk about it when I talk about raids. So this is kind of what it looks like. A decent number of level 60s, but not much after that. I still have to be decently selective with my roster, but I definitely have the opportunity to work on what I would consider side projects and get those things up. Farming plans in the future. Well, I am finishing up getting Arwen, Elladan, and Lomian to 7 stars. I've basically stopped refreshing on them for about a week now, I would say. They're all over 200. I feel like I have enough time that, if Elrond comes in October, I will be able to unlock him at 7 stars, which I think is a good priority to have. In terms of other things I'm farming, yeah, basically everything you see here that's not 7 stars that I have leveled up. I'm also farming Haradrim shards, just in case, although I maybe can stop that now that I'm fairly certain that the Witch King isn't coming. Maybe they'll be used for an unlock for something, so I might just finish them out anyway. We'll see. I guess it also probably depends on where they put T-Beb and Bekaloo for when they become farmable. I'm not really sure. You can see I got Nuraz up, so there's just a lot of raid utility characters as well. I have Bolg at 5 stars. I just got him to 5 stars. And so now I'm switching back to Halbarad for 5 stars. So let's talk a little bit about raids. Actually, let me just show you this one thing before we do that as a good transition. I have 28 shards of Gandalf the Grey. Oh, we could start a raid, but we're going to start ours tomorrow. In terms of raids, for Chapter 1, basically, I typically end up between 2.1 mil to 2.6 mil. So I can usually get the second shard in the Gandalf shards for Chapter 1. I'm hoping with these new bomber changes to Chapter 1 that I can actually take a lot of my teams up in points. For instance, I have seen screenshots from Second Breakfast, who has shown that his Rivendell squad could actually go into difficulty 4 and get like 1.1 mil. So I'm going to be trying that stuff out. I'll record some footage of when I do that tomorrow. Probably release a video about that as well. In-depth raid guides are also going to be coming. So goal is to get over 3 mil, get all the Gandalf shards I can there, 6 of them in Chapter 1. Chapter 2, I don't do so well. Chapter 2, I probably am about 1.6 mil-ish, I would say. Part of that is because my second largest team is not Haradrim, but is instead the Dwarves, which, as we all know, have had these series of bug issues. 2 of those have been fixed. 2 of those that have been fixed have actually, I think, will make a big impact. Gimli's passive is still broken, to my understanding. So that will still downplay their overall power, but I'm pretty excited that Keely's Special 1 is now going to correctly apply bleeds, and that Biffer's slow is actually going to slow the cave troll. So I think there's still a lot of potential with dwarves. Very happy with that those got fixed. We'll see how well they score in Chapter 2 of the raid now, because they weren't doing so hot. So my goal here in Chapter 2 is actually just to get to the first Gandalf shard, get that 2.1, it's really 2.2 million. Chapter 3, I'm also getting Gandalf shards already, and my goal here is to get to whatever it is, 2.6 to get the second one. I think with Lord Balin, again, the dwarves have been lacking in the raids, in my estimation. I think with Lord Balin, that could possibly help them get to a very, plus, over 600k score in Chapter 3, which is what I'm kind of looking for. My Rivendell elves obviously do well, especially with Naramiri. And then everybody else is kind of just holding to the seat of their pants for Chapter 3, if I'm being honest with you. So that's where I'm at for raids. Our guild got 90 mil last raid, and we think with the Chapter 1 changes, we're going to start pushing towards 100 mil. And then definitely when Chapter 4 hits, our next big goal will be to get Box 3, which, if I'm remembering correctly, I think is like 144 mil or something like that. We can talk a little bit about Arena, although it's relatively stale. I usually get knocked down to Mithril 2. I then climb up to the top of Mithril 1 and sometimes make it into Champions, but not usually. This is my Arena team. It's pretty much all Elrons. There's a few Rohan teams up here, though. That's a great example. This Cooler guy, yeah, he might be new, or he changed his name or something. I don't recognize that, but a lot of Rohan teams getting up into here now. Obviously, we've got some Isengard teams. So there's a lot of free-to-play teams making their way up into the tops of Shard 1, which is great to see. Elrond mirror matches are fine, but I've done it for a little while now, and it's starting to get stale, I would say. Okay, let's talk about what I'm doing here in the supply store, and then we'll finish with what I spend money on. I actually try to save my gold on my main account, just because I tend to run out of it a lot more. I feel like I'm going to have to save a lot for coming 7-star promotions. So I will buy this purple light fragment, just because G9ing my Arena squad has really depleted my sort of supply there. I do buy stuff in the weekly store. I was buying Nuraz, Halbarad, and then the essences, the purple essences as well, just to make sure I could G9 my Arena squad. I'm not convinced I'm going to G9 anybody else at the moment. I might still buy essences, so I have a little bit of a stock of them, but unless G9ing is what takes a team, it gives it the ability to go into difficulty 4 in Chapter 1, I'm not super interested, if that makes sense. So I already have my Arena team at G9, and I'm not going to do G10. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. Okay, so I have a maxed Wubate and I have a maxed Miri. You notice that I have T-Beb leveled and I have Bekaloo leveled, and I feel like they're great utility characters in Raid outside of Haradrim. I have none of the other Haradrim leveled. I have I could promote Wubate to 7 stars, and definitely the other two, Yeftu and Roble, are 5 stars plus, probably closing in on 6 stars now. I just don't want to upgrade them, but they are a consideration. I am considering upgrading them because they are very good in the raids. They just require a lot of investment. But they're a shadow team, and I haven't been upgrading a lot of shadow teams, so I'm thinking about it, but just not at the moment, I would say. Also have Miri, enough shards to get to 7 stars, so I haven't promoted her either, just because I can get shard shop currency by buying them sometimes. Again, I'm just kind of buying ability materials when I need them, and these purple light crystals here. As I previously mentioned, I have Bolg at 5 stars. The reason I did that was because I already had Halbarad at 5 stars, and I wanted to cover my bases in case he is needed for some sort of legendary unlock. Speaking of, I think there is more than a 10% chance that the dwarves will be used as an unlock for a legendary in the near future. That's just kind of what things are aligning that way. I think there's probably a 33% chance. Is that an endorsement that you should probably be farming dwarves? No. I would, wait until we have confirmation if you aren't interested in dwarves in the first place. If you are, then there's been some actually recent positive changes to the dwarves, and you should farm them. But if the next legendary requires dwarves, then I think I will be in a pretty good position. I have Feely and Keely at 6 stars. Fro is just about at 5 stars, so I could start refreshing her, and then I could get Gimli to 7 pretty quickly. And I think if we heard that announcement, I would probably spend money to get not Biffer to 7 stars, but get Lord Ballin to 7 stars. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Arena Shop, I have Aemir at 7 stars. Almost have Shagrat too, but I'm going to be focusing on Legolas for the time being, and then if I have anything extra, I'll toss it into Shagrat. And eventually, when he gets enough shards to be 7 stars, I'll start tossing into Golbers here. Again, you know my motto, character shards are king. I just want to make sure I have the shards for characters. I don't know what to do with the raid store here. I get all these tokens here, and I have an excess of light and shadow crystals, I would say, so I'm not really pressed there. So sometimes I spend them on, like, these flowers, but 250 for one flower or one of these unique, it just doesn't seem like a good conversion to me. So I don't really know what to do with them. Maybe essences if I run low. I'm not really sure. I just kind of leave them there, and then if I really need something, I will get them. And then, I am building up shard shop currency, about 88 now, but I'm just going to kind of build this up as well until I really need something. Usually one of these, blue pieces here, and then I don't have to spend energy. I can just use the shard shop currency. Speaking of, what do I spend money on in this game? I would say the majority of money I spend is on gems, and that's because I want to do gem energy refreshes. What I do is every day I do the 3 100s and 2 200s in guild, because I think guild is one of the most important refreshes you can do if you are a player that pays to play this game, or you put money into this game. And then I do the 50s and the 100s on normal energy refreshes, and then I will dip into the 200s if I really need to finish something up, or mostly because I'm being impatient. In terms of marquees, I only go to 5 stars on marquees. I have not done 7 stars. Like I just mentioned, though, that might change if if dwarves are required for the next legendary. Then I would probably take Lord Ballin to 7 stars, just because my dwarves are in such a good place. I don't think I'm going to normally do that. I think it's too kind of prohibitively expensive. And then in terms of offers, I will buy some of the, I think, well-placed offers. Usually they offer them for 30 days when they're like a pretty good value, better than the value that they normally give you. So some offers recently that did that, I bought the 1 mil gold and like 250k XP or whatever it was, 500k XP, pretty much exclusively for the XP. I thought that was a pretty decent deal there. And then I will do character shard packs if I think it will take me over the edge. So I've previously bought character shard packs for Bolg, I should say recently. And also for the dwarves, because I wanted to get them up as kind of fast as possible. And that's where I'm at mostly for spending, I would say. You know, I don't really want to. I don't really want to buy that. A lot of these things I just don't really want to buy. They just don't interest me at all. This is an interesting one just because it's $100, and I don't know if that's really worth it. That doesn't seem worth it to me. So this is something I was considering. I was actually really hoping that they were going to drop news today. And then, you know, that news would either have Elrond's return date in it or talk about the next legendary or something, right? And maybe they will. And if they do, I'll make another video later. But I was considering buying this just for the Fro shards mostly, just to get, you know, you can buy it twice, get 100 Fro shards. That's kind of taking the time crunch off of taking her to 7 stars if I need to. Again, if it was announced that the dwarves were a legendary unlock. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, I would say. Pretty happy with the account. Pretty happy with where it's at, how it's doing in arena, how it's doing in raids. I'm very excited for these bug fixes for the dwarves. I really enjoy the raids, and I think I will exponentially enjoy them more now that the bomber fixes have gone into chapter 1. And I really want to kind of, in the long term, build up a very solid fellowship team. So I will be going for Legolas. I will be going for Gimli pretty hard, making sure they get to 7 stars, and then trying my best to get Gandalf unlocked, and then, you know, getting him up as well. So pretty interested in that. But that's basically all it is right now. Elrond, working on my dwarves more, and Lord Balin, who's part of the dwarves. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a tour of the main account and what it looks like at 200k. I think a lot of people are kind of crossing into that 100k threshold on their accounts. So I will do that as well on my free-to-play account when I get there. It's not that much different, if I'm being honest with you. I have some teams more fleshed out, and I have a few side character project things, and that's basically it. But with that, I hope you enjoyed watching, and take it easy.